It's really great to see everybody here, and I see that we have all managed to survive Turkey Day and Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and here we are in December, and our monthly theme is celebrating divine truth. And we're moving towards Christmas and a brand new year. I think some may be looking forward to the holiday season, as unusual as it may be. And some may be fearful about how the new year will unfold in the presumed shadows of COVID and new leadership for the country, among many other things. There are many shadows we could visit about, but just for tonight, we're going to talk about our own shadows. So my talk this evening is titled, Me and My Shadow. Our shadow self, or dark side as it is sometimes termed, are the hidden parts of ourselves that can keep us from living in a holy, holy way, as our opening song encouraged. You may be old enough to recall or had family members who talked about the old movie line, "The Shadow Knows." Now that really originated in a radio program, July 31st, 1930. The radio programs at that time were incredibly popular. Families sat around the radio at night and listened to the entertainment shows and the story shows like The Shadow. And there were so many kinds of entertainment on the radio. It was really truly a way that people came together. Well, The Shadow was the mysterious narrator of the detective story hour. The Shadow always knew the dark secrets that the detective found in the mystery stories that were told on the radio program. The Shadow's voice was ominous and scary, and the stories were filled with fearful events that were accented by fabulous sound effects on the radio. There were actually special people that made a good living at that then, making odd noises on the radio to create the effects for the programs. Well, we still have mystery stories that are fearful and scary, and they're available 24 hours a day on our TVs, our computers, our cell phones, and other streaming devices to which we are all attached. All we really have to do is watch the news, but we can turn these off if we choose to disconnect. Here's the bigger challenge. There are stories within each one of us creating fearful shadows that keep us from enjoying life to the fullest. Some of those we can't seem to turn off or walk away from or even run from. And some of them are our darkest shadows. Now, Carl Jung, who was the developer of Jungian psychology, proposed that the shadow is the entity created in our psyche when we attempt to separate good from evil. It is literally the embodiment of all the impulses and qualities we have thrust into the unconscious because the ego finds them unacceptable. The shadow is the voice of the ego in us that stores all that we are that we feel we should not be. Sexual, angry, hostile, vulnerable, masochistic, self-hating, guilty, weak. And perhaps for men, showing compassion and emotion may be included if these things were not acceptable to express in your family or culture. For women, it could be strength and assertiveness if these were not acceptable to express in your family or culture. The shadow self is the one we fear because it sometimes seems the things that are our weaknesses, our hidden actions, are so terrible that we would be unlovable, unacceptable, and alone should they ever come to be known. Yet, bringing our shadows to light, allowing them to come forward is exactly the best medicine for realizing that we are whole, complete, and perfect, just as we are, and that our shadows are a part of our perfection. We speak of the dark side, and yet it is simply a matter of perspective or the view from which we see something. There's a dark side of the moon when we don't see the illuminated side at night. Yet we don't place a judgment on the dark side of the moon and say it must be bad or evil because we can't see it. We just simply know that it's there. Sometimes the darkness of night is considered scary. You can't see stuff lurking in the shadows. You can't see things that are coming towards you or leaving you. That shadow stuff is scary. And when we look at our fears in the light, well, the shadow is integrated into wholeness. You know, indigenous peoples have used vision quests for centuries to confront and accept the shadow self. It's actually a requirement of coming of age in many cultures. The individual goes alone into the wilderness to confront and conquer fear of their shadow self. In that quest, the individual takes nothing with them. They must be at one with nature, their surroundings, and everything they experience. And as the days and the hours go by, there is confrontation with the shadow self, a quality that may be represented in animal spirit form. There may be challenge and struggle with the shadow animal spirit, and other animal spirits who became allies in the light may come to assist with the process. Ultimately, the dark shadow is embraced, and there is an embodiment of the shadow animal spirit that then becomes an ally instead of an enemy. That is when the understanding of wholeness and oneness is attained. The shaman and the tribal elders welcome the individual upon their return. They hear their experiences and offer more guidance on them based in their ancient tribal wisdom teachings. Sometimes, when an individual is unwell and the medicine people have not achieved a healing with them, the shaman, the spirit healer of indigenous peoples, is called to venture into the dark underworld to find the missing piece of a person or something that has been put into the person that does not belong, that interferes with health, well-being, mental and emotional stability. They assist in restoring wholeness as they take action to remove or replace that perceived darkness in the being through their spiritual activities, ceremonies, and understandings of their connectedness to all life. Well, some of those methods may seem out of place in our world today, but I think there's a value in the processes. In each example, the individual confronted their shadow process, their fear, and with the guidance and support through their activities with their spirit animals or their shamans, their wholeness was revealed. Now, the good news is that you don't have to go on a vision quest anymore or call a shaman to assist you with looking at your shadow self. The divine presence within you, that divine essence of light, is always shining the truth within you. That divine truth is that the divine truth is that spirit does not judge us. Spirit only loves us unconditionally and without reserve or hesitation. There's never a time that it listens to the ego that we spiel around and buys whatever story we are promoting about how awful we are. Spirit never says, yep, you're right, you're bad, and I don't love you, just go away. Rather, it's Spirit's unconditional love that promotes the alignment of body, mind, and spirit and reveals our wholeness. Yet sometimes our experiences have had such impact that the fear we feel to revisit any of it can be overwhelming and keep us stuck in old painful places. Sometimes for some of those experiences, it's good to have a therapist to assist you. However, our teaching also supports us in those situations. We have professional practitioners who are available to spiritually guide and support us through our vision quests once we are inspired within to be free from our fear of the shadows. You know, there's no shadow in the light of God. It shines in, through, and as us, just as Paula read in her meditation. Practitioners only see that light, regardless of the story our shadow may tell. We use affirmative prayer to see beyond condition, to know only the truth of the being, and to release that which no longer serves, to release self-judgment and criticism, and embrace every facet of who we are. And sometimes, as we look at our shadows, we find that they have been the propelling energy, the inner strength, perhaps the wind beneath our wings, that has moved us into greater evolution of spiritual beingness, to the revelation of our natural wholeness as emanations of the divine, the full alignment of our body, mind, and spirit. When we embrace our shadows, bringing them into the light and welcoming them, they dissolve into the light and reveal our wholeness and our oneness. Dr. Holmes writes in the Science of Mind text on page 365, and I do so love the things that he writes. They're so beautiful. He writes, God is the infinite spirit, the limitless conscious life of the universe, the one infinite person within whom all people live, the one indivisible whole. He goes on and says, holy, 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 inner presence, great and mighty, inner light that shines divinely, inner life that lives completely, inner joy that smiles serenely, inner peace that flows so deeply, inner calm, untroubled, happy, inner love that gives so freely, inner truth that never fails me, inner power that holds securely, inner eye that sees so clearly, inner ear that always hears thee, inner voice that speaks supremely, inner good that binds me to thee. Holy, 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 spirit of wholeness within me. I invite you to consider those words, and I invite you as the week unfolds to consider the value of your shadow. Invite the alignment of body, mind, and spirit, and truly know the spirit of wholeness within yourself. It's an adventure that is far beyond the movies and so well worth your time. And so it is. And as is our custom, we'll just do a prayer right now. So in this moment, in this very sacred time, this sacred vessel of a service, this sacred container of light that we have come together to share, this sacred space that we have created in the oneness and the harmony of the divine unity of all life that flows through us, wherever we may be, for there is no spot where God is not. It connects us through the warp and weft of the universe. We are one. And in our oneness, we come to realize our wholeness. And so I speak this word this evening, a word of unity and harmony and wholeness for each of us here and for everyone everywhere, knowing that the perfect alignment, the perfect unity of the shadow and the light that is the wholeness of our being, as we embrace it, allows us the absolute recognition of that divinity within that is the light of the world. And as we enter this season of light, I remind us and bring to the forefront the knowledge that our shadow is only a shadow when we stand away from the light. And so right now, I speak a word of wholeness, of peace, of ease, and of joy. And I speak a special word of wholeness and ease for the frontline workers in the healthcare industry, for the first responders dealing with illnesses that we never thought we'd see, for the families who have lost loved ones, for the holidays that will be different for those who have no one there because they have been moved through their transition as a part of this pandemic process. I know that every being on this planet is fully supported. I know that they are abundantly prospered. And I know that the love of spirit lifts everyone up to the next highest level of their existence easily and effortlessly. And I know that the grace of God flows through every life in that divine flow that brings ease and peace to every heart, everywhere. And so I just give thanks for this time. I give thanks for this time. And I release this word directly into the law that always says, yes, my beloveds, yes, knowing that it is already so. And together we can simply say, and so it is. And so it's time for our prosperity affirmation. Yay, prosperity. And I just want to thank everyone for their continued financial support for the center. It's nothing short of miraculous that we have moved through this time as well as we have, and all of the abundance, the abundant flow of the universe that flows through each and every part of our congregation for each and every one, and through our entire community. I am so grateful. So I have a little affirmation, and I didn't put it in the chat, but I could do that right now. Ta-da! I'll do it right now. I'm going to read it first, and it says, what does it says? Let's see. I share my abundance in a holy way with love and joy. So we can all say it together. You got to push the enter button. I share my abundance in a holy way with love and joy. And so I just bless the gifts that come to our center. I bless the love, the generosity, and the healing energy of the love of pure spirit that comes through our center and returns to the world through the good works of everyone in our community. And so it is. And now we're ready for our candlelight service. So Paula will light our candle of inclusion. And I just have to give recognition to Reverends Leslie Goodwin and Reverend and Karen Lewis, who are co-ministers at the New Vision Center in Phoenix, Arizona. And so as Paula lights our candle, we will let it serve as acknowledgement for all the people for whom we light these candles. All sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit, and we honor and acknowledge you wherever you are on your spiritual journey. We light a candle for all who feel isolated. We stand with you and know the presence of the One is active in your life. We've lit this candle for all who feel silenced. We stand with you and know that openness is here for you. We light this candle for all who feel rejected. We stand with you and know that divine acceptance is your truth. We light a candle for all who feel unloved. We stand with you and know the truth that compassion surrounds you. We light a candle for all who feel in lack. We stand with you and know the abundance and divine flow in your life. We light a candle for all who feel afraid. We stand with you and know the peace that passes all understanding is with you now. We light a candle for all who feel lost. We stand with you and know that wisdom guides and leads you to where you are meant to be. And as we view this candle flame Just allow someone to come to your mind whom you want to bless, and bring them into your heart with yourself, knowing that without a doubt, your love and light heals and comforts. And so it is. And so now for our benediction, we're going to do our favorite thing. We're going to do our vitamin blast. Yay, a little love blast here. So I just invite you to think of that love, that healing love that's in your heart that overflows all the time. And just bring your hands to your heart center and just allow that divine, unconditional love that is the truth of your being to fill your heart to overflowing. Allow it to come into your hands to overflowing. And just simply rub your hands together, going 1, 2, 3, and whoosh, out it goes. Into our homes, our neighborhoods, our communities, into our country, around our country, and around the globe, and out into the cosmos and beyond the infinite. And so it is.